Welcome back to RNG Small Ball. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our breakdowns. We're in February 2026, and if you've been following the NBA closely, you know things are getting messy. The new second apron rules are creating real problems for teams trying to stay competitive. And we've already seen major movement with Trae Young heading to Washington. What we're looking at now is a league where teams are genuinely fighting for survival, not just making moves for the sake of it. So instead of running through the usual generic predictions, I want to walk you through 10 trades that actually make sense right now. These aren't fantasy scenarios. These are deals where the numbers work, the rosters make sense, and frankly, the timing feels right. Starting at number 10, we've got the Lakers addressing what's become a pretty glaring issue. They're sitting 5th in the Western Conference, which sounds fine until you watch them try to defend on the perimeter. It's just not working. The trade would send Keon Ellis to Los Angeles, while Sacramento gets Dalton Knecht and a 2032 second-round pick. Here's why this works. Ellis is making just $2.3 million, so the money is incredibly easy to move, and he's arguably the best point-of-attack defender in the league, outside of Herb Jones. The Lakers desperately need someone who can actually stay in front of opposing guards. For Sacramento, they're getting a legitimate shooter in Knecht who can help space the floor for DeRozan, and he's on a controllable contract for the foreseeable future. It's straightforward, it's realistic, and it solves LA's biggest problem right now. At number 9, we're looking at Golden State making a change that's felt inevitable for a while now. They would acquire Michael Porter Jr. from Brooklyn, sending out Jonathan Kuminga and a top 10 protected 2028 first-round pick. The Kuminga situation has run its course in Golden State. He's clearly frustrated with his role, and the Warriors' motion offense has kind of evolved past what he brings to the table. Meanwhile, Porter joined Brooklyn last summer in the Cam Johnson deal and has been their leading scorer, but the Nets are still in full rebuild mode. What the Warriors need is a legitimate 6'10" shooter who can take the pressure off Steph Curry and extend possessions. Porter gives them that championship caliber spacing they're missing. Brooklyn, on the other hand, gets a high upside athlete in Kuminga, who can finally play the 35 minutes per game he's been asking for, plus they add another future asset. Number 8 is where things get really interesting. This would be Milwaukee going all in by acquiring Ja Morant from Memphis. In return, the Grizzlies would receive Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis, Ryan Rollins, and a top 5 protected 2031 first-round pick. We're hearing that Memphis is at least listening to offers on Ja, and Milwaukee is getting desperate to keep Giannis engaged and happy. This would be a massive swing for both franchises. Morant will give the Bucks that explosive downhill force they've been missing, someone who can attack the rim and create chaos in transition. For Memphis, this gets them a serious haul of assets while bringing in 2 legitimate veteran presences in Kuzma and Portis, who can help them stay competitive. Plus, that 2031 pick could be incredibly valuable when Milwaukee's core eventually ages out of contention. At number 7, the Timberwolves addressed their biggest weakness by bringing in Colin Sexton from Charlotte. The Hornets would get Bones Hyland and a 2027 second-round pick in return. Minnesota's defense is elite, we all know that. But when the playoffs come around, their offense just grinds to a halt. Sexton is having the best season of his career right now on an $18.9 million deal, and he's exactly the kind of microwave scorer they need coming off the bench or even playing alongside their core. Charlotte isn't competing for anything meaningful this year, so moving Sexton lets their young guys get more minutes while taking a chance on Hyland's upside. Number 6 is a deal that honestly feels like it should have happened years ago. Miami would acquire Dorian Finney-Smith from the Nets, sending back Duncan Robinson and a lottery-protected 2030 first-round pick. Finney-Smith is the perfect Heat player, tough, versatile defensively, and he knocks down corner threes at a high rate. Brooklyn is still in asset collection mode, so taking on Robinson's contract is a small price to pay for another future first-rounder. For Miami, this solidifies their roster as they push to stay in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. It's the kind of deal that makes too much sense for both sides. At number 5, we've got the Thunder making a move that could be another piece to their championship puzzle. They'd acquire Lauri Markkanen from Utah, giving up Legent Stort, Cason Wallace, and their unprotected 2026 first-round pick. Oklahoma City is the defending champion after beating the Pacers in 7 games last June, but they're sitting on too many assets and not enough roster spots to use them effectively. Adding Markkanen to their 5-out offensive system would make them essentially impossible to guard. You'd have elite spacing in every single position. Utah has been stalling on moving Markkanen for too long, and this deal lets them cash in on his peak value. They get a defensive anchor in Dort and a potential future star in Cason Wallace. If OKC wants to build a dynasty, this is how you do it. Number 4 addresses what's become a serious problem in Dallas. The Mavericks would bring in Herbert Jones from New Orleans, sending out Quentin Grimes, Olivier Maxence Prosper, and 2 second-round picks. Dallas is currently sitting in the lottery hunt, and with Luka and LA, they are desperately trying to win games to prove everyone wrong. They need to move assets for future flexibility. Herbert Jones is one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire league, and would be the prize for any new contender. New Orleans is looking to reset their financial situation, so they get 2 young prospects with upside and some flexibility moving forward. At number 3, the Knicks make a smart depth move by acquiring Robert Williams III from Portland. The Trailblazers would get Precious Achiuwa and a 2026 second-round pick that originally belonged to Detroit. New York is a legitimate contender right now, but their frontcourt depth behind Karl Anthony Towns is shaky at best. When Robert Williams is healthy, and that's obviously the key phrase here, he's a legitimate defensive game changer. Portland has too many big men on their roster and needs to clear minutes for their lottery picks to develop. This is a low-risk, high-reward move for Leon Rose to make sure the Knicks have the defensive depth they'll need for a deep playoff run in May. Number 2 is the blockbuster scenario that would reshape the entire league. Toronto would acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo from Milwaukee, sending back Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and their unprotected 2026 first-round pick. While Milwaukee just told teams Giannis isn't available, the pressure is mounting. If they decide their championship window is closed, Toronto is the obvious landing spot. Brandon Ingram is really the only star on the Raptors who could actually headline a Giannis trade package without the Raptors giving up Scotty Barnes. Toronto would get their second Kawhi moment, another chance to pair a superstar with their core, and make a real championship run. Milwaukee wouldn't have to go into a complete 5-year rebuild because they'd be getting a 28-year-old cornerstone in Ingram and a productive scorer in Barrett, who has hometown ties. And finally, at number 1, we have the deal that's already happened and set the stage for everything else. The Wizards acquired Trae Young from Atlanta, and this changes everything for Washington. In return, the Hawks receive CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Washington has been sitting on significant cap space with absolutely nothing to show for it. They needed a face of the franchise, someone who could change the entire energy of that city. Trae Young does that immediately. For Atlanta, this move allows them to finally shift their focus to building around Jalen Johnson. They're using McCollum's veteran presence to stabilize the room while clearing future long-term salary to rebuild the right way, with patience and a real plan. Those are the 10 trades that either need to happen or have already set the tone for this deadline. The league is in a strange place right now with the second apron restrictions, and teams are having to make harder decisions than we've seen in years. It's going to be a fascinating few weeks. If you made it this far, thanks for watching RNG Small Ball. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more NBA content. Let me know in the comments which of these trades you think actually goes down. See you in the next one.